What was it like to have COVID? What a question.
What a way to start. You know what? I had no idea it was even gonna wasn't even gonna be a thing for me.
Well,
I truly was convinced it was not, like, it didn't exist. Like, people were just out of their minds. But yeah, I think when I lost my taste and my smell, it was the worst day of my life. I'm like, why do I even eat at this point?
I think that's
silly.
like the confirmation that everybody gets is
Yeah.
like, okay, I feel like shit. Oh, I can't smell or taste.
Yeah.
I think that's the COVID.
For me, yeah, I had peppermint essential oil, and normally, in depending on how stuffed I was, like, it'll take a few seconds to, like, smell it, but no, it was like I was huffing it, nothing for a good 3 days. So besides that, though, I mean, the story that I always tell people is I came back from Chicago and I had no food in my anywhere, so I was like, okay, cool, gotta go grocery shopping. I was walking up the stairs with a 12-pack of Topo Chico. It's really not that heavy, but I live on the 3rd floor, so I was winded by the time I got up there. I fell to my knees. I'm not even kidding you. I couldn't open the door. Like, I just fell, and I'm like, okay, damn, something's up. But at the same time, what am I going to do? Go get tested and have them tell me, and then do the same thing I've been doing, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of people go get tested, and they're like, take some Tylenol for the pain and stay at home for 2 weeks.
Right, and then they just tell everyone about it. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, just everybody's got fucking scared because they have COVID.
Yeah, just reconfirming fear.
So you didn't go to the doctor or hospital or
No.
medically or self-diagnose on WebMD or anything like that?
Self-diagnosed from knowing I can't taste or smell, but besides that, like I said, nothing to see here. Besides that.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
How long did it last?
I feel like I think it would have been 10 times better. Not better, but not as hard to breathe if I wasn't in Colorado. As weird as that is, because I think I'm just still adjusting to just being elevated more. So I think that definitely played an impact for sure. But I mean, it took maybe like 3 weeks to finally go back to the gym.
Damn.
Yeah, because I do cardio sometimes, like, to start off my workout, and that was not a thing.
Is it harder to work out?
It was,
Even,
yeah,
like,
to get used to. Yeah,
Really?
for me. Mm-hmm.
Like, you can feel, like, even when you're, like, inside?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, once you start, like, getting your heart racing a little bit, you're like, oh, shoot, I'm winded. And you get winded real quick. It took, honestly, like, maybe 2 months for me to finally, like, feel adjusted working out, especially. Like, I do stairs, like, a little higher impact cardio, so took a sec, but.
That sucks. How do you like living in Colorado?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I have no complaints. The best thing about it, honestly, are, like, sunrises, sunsets.
For real.
Not every day, but if you catch it at the right time, I'm like, damn. Like, my entire room was completely orange. Like, the other day, I woke up and I saw it, and my blinds were closed, and it was still so strong through it. I ran outside to my balcony, no pants on. I had my phone because I'm like, I'm so ready for this. But yeah, it's beautiful. People are nice. Everyone's different. Like, I've been to a dispensary. I'm like, make friends everywhere. Like, grocery stores, you can just sit and talk to people. Like, they're just so open compared to here. Like, I think I was talking to, he had to be at least, like, my dad's age, like 50s, 60s. We were talking about COVID for a good, like, 30 minutes in line at the dispensary, and it was just chill. I'm like,
I like the people
friends everywhere.
Yeah. I like the people that aren't wearing masks because they're like, oh,
yeah,
we think alike.
We know instantly. Yeah, but then it also instantly separates everyone. It's crazy.
Yeah, facts.
Crazy.
People get dirty ass looks. Do you wear a mask?
You know what? Yes, I do, because I'm just sick of fighting it. Honestly, I have been conditioned.
You have.
Yeah.
Do you wear a mask before?
But I know it. So is it conditioning? I don't know. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's conscious conditioning at
Yeah.
this point. Do you wear a mask before you walk into the establishment, or are you like me where you wear a mask only if they tell you to put a fucking mask on?
I started out like that. There was, I would go in with my friends and they'd be like, "Are you gonna not wear one?" And I'm like, "No, I'm really not going to." Even if they say something to me, I'll be just walk away. Just act like I didn't hear them, didn't see them. I just keep looking straight. But now it is what it is. It's funny because I almost feel like I'm disrespecting somebody now. Yeah, because they hella guilt trip you into it. Like, oh, you don't care about people because you don't have your mask over your nose. Like, wow, you're such a dick. Like, oh, okay. Like, I don't want to be, not that I really truly care what people think about me, because obviously I have my own opinions on it. But at the same time, it's like exhausting to continuously fight about it. But
What did
yeah.
your family say when you did you tell them that you actually had COVID, or like did you just like, oh, I'm just sick?
No, my mom was like instantly like, oh, you got it, you got it. She's fearful.
Yeah.
So yeah, at first I didn't really think I did. I had like, it was more or less my stomach, and then once the cough came and the scent, the loss of scent and smell, I was like, oh, fuck. So I didn't even want to tell her because I was just with her maybe a week before that. So actually when I started to feel the symptoms, so I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be the one to give my mom COVID though, and she smokes, so I don't know. I don't know what would happen, but everything's good.
That's
know.
good.
My dad just had it.
Damn.
Just got over it. You know, you just gotta go through the motions. We're all thriving.
Everybody's thriving. Do you think you gave it to anybody?
No, that was the only thing that I was afraid. I just felt bad because I really felt like shit.
Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, my roommate's completely fine. And I live with them. I share space with them, common areas, so that was cool. And then we had an event out in Chicago that's the reason I flew back for. And I'm pretty sure that's when I caught it. I don't know if it was prior to it or leaving on the airport or in the airplane, but everybody that I reached out to, I'm like, y'all feel good? How you feeling?
Chicago's a COVID hotspot.
Yeah, I just had to like check in with everyone, but no, everyone's like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine.
That's good.
You don't feel sick? No? All right, cool.
So speaking of the elevation in Colorado, how is it like to just walk into a dispensary and get high quality cannabis?
You know, I am an enthusiast, but I don't see it as like an everyday thing for me. Yeah. But it is cool. It's cool that it's a thing and it started out there. So I just feel, yeah.
You don't
I'm
smoke
grateful.
every day?
No, not every day. No. Honestly, for me, it's like the convenience of it. If I really feel like getting down, cool, awesome. But I like indicas. For me, like if I was to smoke an indica, I know we probably shouldn't be doing anything else for the rest of the day because I'm just gonna be like really chilling. Sativa though, I can go into a whole rabbit hole of just like I'm investigating shit. Like my mind is very active. I'm looking into things. I'm observing. Yeah. So it really depends on the day how I'm feeling. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, I think when it's so readily available to you, it kind of like loses. For me, it loses value.
Really?
In a way, it does. Yeah. Like, I'm not as hyped about it. It's just there.
That makes sense. I don't think it's like that in Chicago, though. Because, I mean, you can go to... Well, I can't get one. There's no dispensaries around here. The nearest one's in Schaumburg.
Mm. But a lot of it's more medical out here. Like,
yeah.
And I heard, too, like, if they... Obviously, they're going to, you know, have their inventory for medical purposes. But once they run out, it's like, oh, we don't even have rec to sell.
No.
So it's
not like that in Colorado?
No. Oh, no. No.
Really?
There's plentiful. Yeah.
It's an abundance.
I've never dealt with that issue.
Are you an advocate of all drugs or just marijuana?
All drugs? You know what? I definitely...
Well, drugs as in like... Not like fucking
psychedelics.
Heroin.
You're talking about psychedelics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am definitely, I'm an advocate for sure. I think a lot of us don't even realize the conditioning and the thoughts that we have and why we have them. So when you take a psychedelic or anything that, you know, expands your mind, obviously you see things differently. And I don't think, like Jordan was saying earlier, once you open Pandora's box, like you can't go back in. So it opens your eyes to a lot of things. So yeah, I definitely am an advocate.
What was like the major like experience that you had? Like what was that thing that you were like, okay, yeah, that you don't find that, you don't experience that in a I don't want to say sober, but like in a non elevated state.
Yeah. So it was the first time I took acid. I had no idea what to expect, but all of a sudden I was looking at my friend's like window and I'm like, dude, what is all this like color? Where is this coming from? I'm like, what? I don't know what is going on. And then we went outside and the stars were just like, I mean, it was in the middle of nowhere here out in the suburbs where I grew up. And I saw the stars. I'm not kidding you. I literally looked up and I was like, holy shit, everything makes sense. Damn. Like everything makes, I really don't know what it was, what I was seeing, but everything just connected. And I'm like, what? And that was the theme of the night. Everything was just connecting. And then it was like a whole circle of just like, holy shit, I'm so excited. Like everything is beautiful. And then that carried on. I can't remember exactly what they call it. It's like afterglow or something like that. Yeah. So when you still kind of feel it like the next day and you're like, damn, like everything is so beautiful. I think actually it was a funny time in my life. My parents were like just getting a divorce and things were weird. So I'm just like, yeah, let's have fun. Cool, whatever. Wasn't expecting to like have my mind fucking blown. But yeah, my dad was, you know, still trying to get in the groove of like living life normal and getting back on his feet. So it was summer. So normally we like plant flowers in the back. We have a garden and stuff. My dad's like, well, I'm not going to stop that. Like that was like my parents' thing to do. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely go to Home Depot with you and buy flowers. I'm like, that's not a normal thing for me. But that day in particular, it was right after the time that I took acid, and everything was still so beautiful. Yeah. My dad and I had like the most amazing conversations. It was just like, I don't know what happened. Truly, like I saw some shit, I felt some shit, and everything was good from then on.
Yeah. I remember like after the first time that I did it too, I felt like so just like liberated. Like I didn't really feel like too much like of an experience. Like nothing was like wow. It was after, you know, I was like wow, everything's so beautiful. Like life is so good. Like everything makes sense. Like everything's so aligned. I remember sitting at I had just got into meditation. I was like sitting, I don't know, at a baseball field after like everything had passed, and I was like, everything feels so good. I felt like it was like a 2-hour meditation. It was 15 minutes. And I just walked. I don't remember where I walked. Oh, I had a meeting. I met with the coffee shop. We were talking about charts and stuff. And I walked because it was like a 12-minute walk from my house.
Was it with you?
From my apartment.
Was I with you the first time?
It was when we did it with Alma.
Yeah, okay, I had a feeling. Yeah, when we went into the Uber and there was lights everywhere, I'm like, they know.
Yeah, that was a vibe. I love that though. It's helped me like experience a lot of people have such a bad thing. I know I did before, like, oh my god, it's a terrible thing. So like, how do you feel? Great question. I just thought about it. How do you feel like about when people, especially like as a woman, like other women will be like druggy, you know, like how do you feel about when you do things that typically are underlooked? That's a pretty sensitive topic, you know, like feminism and all that stuff. Like how do you feel when somebody talks to you about something that is looked upon as a woman? Like how do you defend that? Like someone's like, oh, you do drugs. I guess like acid's like not really that big of a deal to most people now. I think there's like scientific evidence that it helps in creativity and all that stuff. But to someone that has like an old belief, how would you explain that? Like how does your mom know that you've done it?
Oh yeah.
So like, what about your grandma?
My grandma was an advocate. My grandfather as well, you can tell. Yeah, I don't think my grandma knows that I've done it before, but like she has definitely done it before. Like she grew up in the 60s, like that was the thing.
The vibes.
Yeah, the vibes. For me, like honestly, I don't see it as like a like masculine or feminine thing to like take psychedelics. Honestly, like at a young age, it's funny because psychedelics used to scare the shit out of me. Same. But here I was at 14, 15 years old, like taking Molly and like snorting lines on the weekend. Yeah, so for me, I think like caring what people thought about me, that was already out the window. And I already knew people were just probably like, what the like she's got some issues, and I was like, yeah, clearly I do. But the thing is, I moved through that, and it was like, okay, cool, well now I'm using these forms of drugs that some people obviously look down on, but for me, I don't use it in a way where I'm escaping reality. I use it in a way where okay, cool, I need I feel some type of way, and maybe like I need to release something I'm holding on to, or I need to expand my mind, or I need to just recenter and just find myself. And a lot of things make sense when I do psychedelics, and I'm just like, okay, cool, yeah, no, I feel me again. Yeah. So I don't see it as a negative thing. I know obviously some people do, but I think a lot of people who do look down on it haven't tried it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
And obviously you see a crackhead on the corner of the street like yelling at themselves and like screaming, and it's like, oh cool, maybe they took acid, maybe they didn't, but some people just point fingers and they expect to know like what this person is dealing with and things like that. But half the time it's like, yeah. That's probably a crackhead. Definitely not on acid. Y'all don't know the difference, but it's all good.
That's facts. So like you've done a lot of things. I know when I first met you, you were working at a hair salon, and then kind of like your path of income has kind of evolved very massively in the last couple of years. How long have I known you? Like 2 years? 2.5 years? 3?
I think like 2.
When did you start trading?
It's been like, it was 2 years in October.
So a little over 2 years. So like what was the mindset shift? Like why did you decide to not do what you went to school for?
Yeah, so I love the fact that I was able to be creative. I love the fact that I wasn't sitting behind a desk at a 9 to 5. Like it was different. It was definitely different. And that was like my creative outlet for the longest time. And I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I still, like, sometimes when I'll do hair, like, just for the fun of it, I'm like, oh damn, that was cool. That was nice. But I think I really realized the fact that, like, once I got into it, first of all, I gave a year and a half of just like an apprenticeship almost, that of my time. Like, it was just straight up bitch work, like, not gonna lie.
Did you get paid?
Yeah, of course I got paid, but it was well under minimum wage. Like, it was terrible. But I was passionate about it at that point, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get to the next level. Gonna get to the next level. Finally, I got my own chair, got my own clients, started working, 40 sometimes plus hours a week, and then you kind of built up what you thought you wanted, because you see everybody else like hustling, grinding, and then here I was, cool, working Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, sometimes, like, just all the time during the weekend. And it's like, cool, my friends are out doing this and doing that. Mind you, a lot, like, half the people that I surrounded myself with were just getting drunk, and like, that's at that point, that's what I thought I wanted, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it took some time to finally, like, think you got or get what you wanted, or get what you think you wanted, I guess you could say, to finally realize, like, that's actually not what I wanted. So the biggest, I guess, breakthrough that I had was, our top stylist, she finally got pregnant. She was, like, really excited about this. She came back from maternity leave after she, like, referred some of her clients to, some younger stylists who had, like, more open availability. They ended up staying with the people, like, that they referred them to. And it was like, okay, cool. So you worked up this entire clientele, not saying that everybody left, but now you're cutting your hours because now you have kids. Now you want to do things with your kids and have like free time to live life, and then I asked them, I was like, are you, like, nervous about, like, not making as much now? And they're like, no, my husband, he's got good insurance or this or that, like, whatever. And I was like, okay, so you want me to be dependent on someone? Like, to me, that was the biggest thing. I was like, nah, that's not gonna fly with me. Like, no, I don't see that for me. And then I really kind of expanded my mind to just seeing things and going out there and just traveling. And to me, that's what I'm really passionate about. I love just seeing new cultures and, just, like I said, expanding my mind. So that for me was very hard to get. Like, I would have to request off like 2 months in advance, and going to Europe for 5 weeks. Are you kidding me? Half my clients would fucking go to the next person, like the chair next to me, and then hope to God I see them when I come back. It just wasn't the place for me. And then everything kind of fell into place. A client of mine who was a regular, she her husband actually owned an orthodontist office, and I kind of let her know. I was like, just so you know, Nancy, like, I don't want to just peace out on you. Like, she was like my mom. I'm not kidding you. I saw her more than I did my mom, and had like deeper conversations with her than my mother. But yeah, we kind of like grew this bond, whatever. Her husband, the doctor, came in one day, and he was just like, I know you want to leave. Cause I mentioned to her, I was like, if I'm not here, like, I kind of skedaddled. Like, I just want to let you know, I just want to give you a heads up, but this is who I would recommend to see. Cause I respected her. Right. So then she came in with her husband, and it was like so low key about it. Like, I'm like, why are you coming into my business already? And he was like, yeah, do you want a job? And I was like, cool. And he told me, he's like, I know you're a people person. I know, you take care of people, you care. So I genuinely think, like, I know you know nothing about orthodontists, like, or what, I don't even know, ortho, whatever. But I know you can work with people. So work for me, like, learn on the job, whatever. I got you. And I was like, okay, cool. Pay raise a little bit, hourly. Again, thought it was like a little bit more cushy. I had PTO.
Hey,
woo, that's what everyone wants, right?
What a benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking scary.
No, don't care. Really doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, it was just a whole nother thing where I was like, yep, still not happy. So a bunch of like falling on my face of like, yeah, okay, so what is it that I want to do? And then trading kind of fell into my lap, and the rest is history. Like, I've never had more freedom. I've never felt more accomplished and fulfilled doing something for myself like this. So yeah.
That's awesome. So talk about that. Like, what like trading as a skill, what else has it done for you? Like, what else has, because trading is, I mean, it's not easy, but it's a very simple thing to learn. And once you learn it, it becomes more of what?
Psychology, 110%. So I've learned more about myself, my emotions, my spiritual side, just any downfall or like negative that comes out, it definitely has come out when I'm trading. So you see a side of yourself that sometimes you don't want to see, but that's exactly how you grow. So for me, it's just been a ton of growth. Like, and honestly, like, I don't even know how the physical comes into it, but I think just the universe will reward you being the best version of yourself, no matter if it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Like I said, you just have to uplift yourself and be the best version, and it pays off. It rewards you when you do that. So
thanks. What's been like the biggest reward that you've got out of trading, apart from the money? Because like obviously everybody, not I don't want to say everybody, that's a bold statement, but and especially in the community that we have, a lot of people, majority, high percentage of people make money.
Mm-hmm.
But like apart from that, what's been the biggest reward that you've gotten out of trading?
It sounds funny, but I think the biggest reward I've gotten were my failures. It came from my failures, really, because that's when I realized, like, oh, this is where I'm lacking. This is where I need to step it up. And obviously the reward is the growth that comes with it. So it's uncomfortable, but that's definitely facts. Like,
what was your biggest failure? Oh, what a question. Put you on the spot.
Question. Yeah, that's a good question. So I was I am a 6-figure trader, but in my head before it happened, it was I was so there. So we have a challenge that we can go through, and so I was here waiting to get funded. Just had to do my time, go through a challenge process and then a verification process, and I went through the verification process twice, and yeah, I was this close 2 times and I just fell right on my face. But it was, for me, that was the greed, because I thought I was there and I knew it and I felt it, and I just got, twice. So yeah, that's something that I'm working on again. But like I said, like it brought out the worst in me to realize the things that I needed to work on. So biggest failure for sure was that. And then, moving forward, we're just going to accomplish it and then laugh about it.
Just keep going.
Yep.
What did you know any of the people other than Mike? Like, did you know any of the people that you now currently, like, your main circle of people?
Mike and Tim.
Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to the same high school. So I think, honestly, like, that's Nick Strauss.
Okay. Because
my dad actually worked with his dad and him technically, but yeah, that's pretty much the only people. And honestly, Mike was the homie. So when he showed me this, I'm like, yeah, you're not playing with me. So yeah. Cool. And you're an educator? Lit.
I feel like that's how everybody feels.
Lit. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. You were the guy. You were that guy that everybody wanted to hang out with back in the day. So like, let me do whatever it is that you're doing, because it obviously is working for you. Yeah.
We bonded over music. And to me, that's something that, like, I am super passionate about it. And like that hits like a certain spot in my heart. So I was like, oh, that's the homie. And I truly care for him. So yeah.
How do you find your music? Because you do listen to some good music. How do you find your music?
Spotify playlists are like dope. Like the radios that you go on after you find like a good song. I'll just find a good song, find a banger, and then go in a whole rabbit hole. Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Yeah, but I used to like spend so much time like on not Spotify, SoundCloud. I spent so much time like finding like new artists and things like that. But I don't even use SoundCloud anymore.
No.
Yeah,
it's because once they started like running ads on it, that's when I was like, yeah, this is not dope anymore.
Do you have to pay for it?
Yeah, they used to be free. Used to be, no ads.
That's when I transitioned to Spotify, I think.
I hated Spotify because I was like Apple vibes all the way. And then I was like, yeah, this sucks. Once I discovered Spotify. Yeah. Do you ever use Tidal?
No, but wait, hold on. Tidal, is that Kanye's?
Jay-Z's.
That's what I meant. No,
I didn't either.
That's a scam.
That's a scam. That's true. So in February, you went to what, 13 countries?
I think it was 13.
13 countries?
I think so.
13 countries?
Right before the vid.
The vid
hit. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that it aligned just like that.
That would have been crazy if you guys wouldn't have made it back. Like, when did you come back? Like, literally the week before everything shut down?
So, yeah, I remember I was in the airport, LaGuardia. So I was, like, on my connecting flight home from Europe. We landed in New York for a little bit of a layover. And then we had an event that was happening the next weekend in New York again. So I bought my flight to New York, going back home.
That's so funny.
And then I was like, all right, cool, awesome. Might as well, I've been traveling, not going to stop. And then, yeah, basically when we got back from New York that Monday, so we got home like Sunday, that Monday was like, I think March 14th, I remember. That's when everything was like shut down, and I'm like, damn, I'm so glad I got that out of my system.
Did you guys like hear about any of this stuff while you were traveling?
My
Like,
mom messaged me when we were, I think it was like Italy, like that was like,
Yeah.
that's a really like hot spot. She's like, do you feel good? Are you feeling okay? And I was like, yeah, why? I had no fucking idea. My mom did. She watches the news, of course, but no, I truly, I had no idea.
I don't even
What was
remember
going on?
like when it started happening. I remember like when the new like everybody's talking about it, like, oh my god, it's coming from China to here, but I don't remember like like hearing like, oh, there might be a deadly pandemic coming, you know. Not until we were in New York it like actually hit that shit was actually running down. I remember having a conversation with my mom. She called me. She's like, they're gonna shut the restaurant down. She works at a restaurant, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, but like you knew this was happening. Like they lived through 2008. I'm like, you guys are good. Like you don't have to worry about it because like you've already happened through one crisis. Like what's another one? You know, this one's just a bunch of fucking fake news. So get over it. And then obviously I wouldn't have had that mindset if I wouldn't have understood what it was before. But I don't even remember how it started, like how everything began to play out.
No, it happened quick too.
Very.
Yeah, and I was in disbelief. I was living in like I was so doubting it. I'm like, shut down, like give me a break.
Yeah.
And then I would go into places without a mask, and they would be so like terrified of me, and I'm like, what? Like it's fine. Like I'm breathing air, dude. Like that's my right as a human being.
Facts.
And yeah, it was crazy.
Well, so back to my question. What was your favorite place that you went to?
Okay, that's such a hard question. It really is. But I think truly for me, like Turkey was something, it was so different, something I was not used to at all. Like a lot of the places, I don't know if it was required truly, but you felt like, as a woman, you felt like you needed your head or your hair to be covered. Like I needed to wrap my head around a lot of men in particular. But yeah, like any public area, like we went to mosques, and to me, like I'm so uncultured in that way because it was just a totally different culture. We went into mosques. Thank God I saw someone who went in before me take off their shoes because I knew nothing better than that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Don't wear your shoes in here. Awesome. And then thank God it was a female who was in front of me who put, something like this around her head. And I was like, okay, I don't feel comfortable. It's like, not that, yes, of course I was going to like wrap my head, but I didn't want to go in there. I didn't want to disrespect anyone. Yeah. Because I knew no better. Like I didn't want to be ignorant, and I clearly was in that term. I was like, I should probably do some research because we literally were flying to different countries like every 3-4 days, and at the end of it, it was like, okay, cool, where are we going? And like, what is this country known for? Like, I didn't even know what to expect to some degree. So Turkey was just a huge culture shock. I learned a lot. They have just like, it's called the Grand Bazaar. So it's basically a whole, oh my God, I think the guy who we rented out our Airbnb with, he was telling us like, if you went to each and every one of these stores, it would take you a good like 7 days to like touch it was a huge ass place. And everything from like fake Louis to like Off-White to Yeezy, you can find anything there, like YSL bags, like, and they definitely were not 100% authentic, but like you can get it on the low and they look like pristine. Like it's crazy. It's so crazy. I told like the people I was with, I'm like, you know what, next time I come to Turkey, which I will definitely come back, but I'm coming with a suitcase full of nothing because it was lit. It was so fun. Yeah. And the food, such a vibe, like, like Moroccan style kind of like restaurants and like colorful like cushions and stuff like that. So the place we went to, thank God, we were there all the time. We actually became friends with the server the last day that we were there. He's like, you guys, we should go out, this and that. And like, we're catching a flight in like 5 hours. But dude, it would have been cool to like go out and see like his side of Turkey. Because I'm sure he knew like, some things that we touristy people wouldn't understand. But yeah, it was such a vibe. We went to a bunch of like restaurants, amazing. And then that place that we frequently went to where we made friends with the server, we had like a freaking hookah like in the middle of our table as we were eating. It was just lit, like beer on. It was a cool vibe. I would definitely go back.
So if COVID wasn't here right now, where would you travel to?
Bali. That ruined my plans. Yeah, I wanted to spend 2 months in Bali by 2020.
Why Bali?
It's a YouTuber that I followed. She was from London originally, and then all of a sudden she just moved across countries across the freaking world, basically. And yeah, the images that she would be posting, the videos, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I definitely need to go. And she just kept saying, like, this is the happiest place on earth. And, you know, the people, like, who, what's the word? I was going to say regulars, but people from there, I don't know what they call them, Balinese, like, I don't know.
Belizeans?
Sure.
I don't know if that's true.
They were just like, it literally, they had nothing. They really don't have that much. It's just they live on the land a lot, and, you know, they drive their little scooters, but they seemed so happy. Like, they were waving, like, to anyone and everyone just in the middle of traffic, like the biggest traffic jam ever. And it was like, they're chill as hell. So that's kind of where it started. And then I looked into it, and then you can see, like, what, Airbnbs, like tree houses, and the fact that it's just so cheap. Like, after going to Colombia and living large out there, like, I felt like a queen. I'm not even gonna lie. I almost felt guilty about being there and, like, being an American, because I just felt so wealthy. But that's kind of how Bali is in a way. It's 10 times cheaper than it is here. So what you can get out there is, like, it's wild. So you can live large.
Let's
you can
go.
stay in a villa for like $600 a month. And then what, if you split that with, like, even another person, that's like, what, you can live, yeah.
You live large.
Like $1,000 out there.
It's like in Mexico. You live like a fucking king if you make like $3,000-$4,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, so I just want to experience that, just to know, you know.
You only go there for 2 months though?
Well, the thing is, I've done my research, like I said. So visas, you can go on a free visa for 30 days, no issue. And then if you leave the airport, actually, before you leave the airport, if you want to go and extend your visa, you can, but you cannot leave the airport. Like, you got to do that and extend it another 30 days, but they limit you to 60 days there because tourism is so high. Basically, what you have to do is, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but I think it's I can't remember. But basically, when your visa is up, you have to hop on a flight, go to, you know, a lot of people go to like Singapore or somewhere close, fly out, and then fly right back in. And that's when your visa kind of reloads. Wow. So it's kind of annoying because, I mean, Bali's not really close to anything. So it's like a whole day of, like, it's called a visa run is what they call it. So you can go to the, you know, Tokyo, whatever you want to do, but you got to buy a flight to do that. And then you do the whole cycle all over again. But yeah, I think it's the easiest would be staying there for 60 days and not having to do that. But you never know if I liked it.
Yeah. Nice.
Extend it.
I would go there. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so done. So I wanted to ask you, my little sister is like, she wants to travel. Like, that's all she wants to do. And I think that there's not a lot of women influencers out there. And the ones that are showing their ass or whatever body parts they've gotten done to themselves, and that's how they become an influencer. And I wouldn't say that you're opposed to that. I just don't think that you kind of fall into that niche. So what kind of, like, advice would you give to somebody, especially women, like, even, like, I wouldn't say young kids, but like people our age, you know, in their 20s and their 30s, like, that don't necessarily want to follow that niche of, like, let me do everything to my body to fit the image of a woman, but still be an influence to other women?
Ooh, it's funny you say that because I do think I kind of fell for that. Like, as I was working at the salon, everybody was getting their lips done. Everyone was doing this and that to themselves. And it's the beauty industry. You know, you have to look good. You have to have, like, a high standard for yourself, because if you're going to be selling someone on looks and hair and anything like that, like, you need to know your shit. You need to look the part, right?
Yeah.
So I think actually being around that type of environment, I understood how unhealthy it was, because I heard, you know, the talk in the back room of, like, why exactly they want these things. And it's like, okay, it seems really shallow. It really does. So I think that kind of opened my eyes. But truly, like, the one piece of advice I would say just to young kids in general, like women, just do what feels right, honestly. Like, half the time your gut knows better. If you're doing things for other people, your gut's going to know it, you know? So, I mean, live your truth, truly.
Facts. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's love.
Yeah.
All right. We're good.